sink in. Listen to me. Look into my eyes. There, I finally caught your attention.
In the field of science, a fault is a fracture in the crust of a planet, such as the Earth and even the Moon, accompanied by the displacement of one side of the fracture with respect to the other, usually in a direction parallel to the fracture. Aside from the fault being a giant crack, earthquakes occur near it. One thing in particular that we are going to give attention here today is the Marukina West Valley Fault System. The said fault is one of the two major fault segments of the Valley Fault System, which runs through Metro Manila to the cities of Marikina, Quezon City, Pasig, Makati, Taguig, and Muntinlupa, and moves in a dominantly dextral strike-slip motion. The fault segment traverses from Doña Remedios Trinidad to Calamba with an approximate length of 129.47 kilometers. The fault possesses a threat of a large-scale earthquake with an estimated magnitude between 6 to 7. You might have heard the word big one a couple of times now, right? To give definition to it, the big one is a worst-case scenario of a 7.2 magnitude earthquake from the West Valley Fault that runs through the 6 cities in Metro Manila and nearby provinces. Without a shadow of a doubt, the earthquake is that devastating. Now that you know the basics of today's topic, it is time for you to know the things and protocols that we need to do before, during, and after an earthquake. By knowing this, we would be able to be more prepared than ever, and ultimately would increase the chances of your survival during an earthquake. Without further ado, let's jump into it. Number 1. Know the hazards. Your first priority is to know the hazards in your area. Here are some helpful tips to remember. Look around your area and decide where the safe spots are located. Always store flammable and hazardous chemicals in secondary containment trays and in strong cabinets. Secure valuable equipment, process tanks, storage tanks, gas cylinders, closets, and materials to prevent explosions. Hazards can be different from place to place, and knowing them and minimizing its possible risk would be a great help, for it can dramatically reduce the overall damage that the earthquake can do. Number 2. Know the evacuation area. Knowing the evacuation sites in your area would help you keep away from the dangers of an earthquake. Since the building is designed to withstand and keep hold on the public in times of calamities, you can know by searching the designated evacuation sites in your location at the internet or by asking authorities. At least during an earthquake, you would know where to go that would be highly safe. Number 3. Know the emergency numbers. There are certain hotlines that have the sole purpose of assisting the need, such as during an earthquake. Knowing the numbers would come handy in future times of need and danger. Here are the essential hotlines inside Marukina that you need to know. You may pause the video to see it longer. Number 4. Participate during drills. Ladies and gentlemen, it is best to participate and take earthquake drills seriously. It will help simulate the things that you should do in a certain area, such as in your school, office, mall, or even your house. This would help you to be more prepared and would prevent panicking in the future. Number 1. Don't leave the gas electricity always on. Even though you might still be a young child, you should learn how to turn off the gas, water, and electricity source. Leaving gas tanks or appliances on even when not being used can be a potential risk, resulting to a little explosion and fire, especially during earthquakes since they are unexpected to happen. Number 2. Don't forget to know your exit routes. Knowing all the exit routes of a certain building, such as your school or house, would help you escape and keep you away from being trapped in the said structure. It is important that you do this in every building you are in, for you to be one step ahead from danger. Number 3. Don't put heavy objects on high places. Keep fragile and heavy objects on lower shelves whenever possible. Not doing this would only end up the said objects falling on someone, only increasing the chances of getting serious injuries or even death. Yikes. Number 4. Don't forget to prepare your emergency kit and supplies. It is always important to have an emergency kit along with any other valuable things, such as cell phones, flashlights, radios, and etc. that can be handy in the future. Always make sure that it is accessible to anyone as much as possible. Here is a list that would be a guide to help you acquire the basic necessities. If you are inside a building during an earthquake, immediately duck, cover, and hold. Protect your head from falling objects. Cover your head and drop under a bed, desk, table, or any kind of furniture that can protect you from falling objects. And hold onto the object that you are under so that you remain covered. You may also use hard books to increase protection. Stay under cover until the shaking stops. Do not go into a doorway, for it is a weak spot and doesn't even protect you from any falling objects. Move away from the danger areas. And, as stated earlier, always watch for falling objects. If only safe to do so, turn off and disconnect the power to equipment as you leave the area. Make note of any unsafe conditions, trap personnel, or other hazards to be reported when you evacuate. By the time comes, authorities will be ready to help. Now that you know the important things to do, stay outside. Move to an open area away from buildings, trees, electrical or overhead wires, and other hazards. If forced to stand near a building, watch out for falling objects. If you are inside a vehicle during an earthquake, stop your vehicle in the nearest open area without blocking the roadway. Do not stop under bridges, overpasses, or overhead wires. Stay in the vehicle until the shaking stops. Number 1. Do not panic. No matter in what situation, you should never forget to always stay calm. Panicking would only increase the chances of danger and death. Maintain your sanity and follow the protocols during the earthquake. Panicking would only mean defeat, kids. In this kind of situation, however, your duty is to win. Number 2. Do not use an elevator. Use stairs instead. During an earthquake, using an elevator would not be smart and would be very risky. The situation would only be worse, resulting you to be trapped in the elevator, making you vulnerable and unable to escape danger. Number 3. Don't go near glasses or any objects that may fall. Glasses can also be hazards during an earthquake, for they may shatter and spread sharp debris, resulting to serious cuts and injuries. As much as possible is that keep your distance away from the things that may shatter or objects that may seem to fall. 4. Don't forget to bring your first aid kit, along with the other valuable things that may come handy in the future. During an earthquake, do keep in mind to bring a first aid kit with you, or your family or group. This would help quickly treat minor injuries, avoiding the result of the situation worsening. It would only be a waste if you forgot the valuable things, Number 1. Be alert and cautious. No matter in what situation, never stay out of being alert. Be cautious. Never let your guard down. Observe your surroundings. You may use the radio in order to be informed on any important news regarding about the earthquake. Number 2. Expect any aftershocks. Aftershocks are smaller earthquakes that follow after the main earthquake. It is common for them to happen, causing further damage and risk on the surroundings. This may occur seconds, minutes, hours, or even days after the initial shock. No matter the case, an aftershock still possesses a threat, so still be cautious. Other helpful tips: evacuate after the shaking stops to the designated evacuation centers. However, when in doubt, Assess the situation well first before evacuating the building. Take your emergency supplies, car keys, purse, wallet with you. Take note that you may not be able to re-enter the building. Leave doors unlocked. Do a head count and report for serious injuries, fires, missing people, trapped people, or other hazards to the response team member or to the authorities. Only activate the fire alarm if there is a fire in your building. If trapped after an earthquake, however, never lose hope. You should stay calm. If a window is available, place an article of clothing such as a shirt, coat, or etc. outside the window as a marker for rescue. If there is no window, regularly tap on a pipe or a wall so that rescuers can hear where you are. If possible, use a flashlight or a whistle to signal your location to the rescuers. If available, pull a manual fire alarm pull station. Remember, shout only as a last resort to prevent dust inhalation, tiring too quickly, or losing your voice. Number 1. Don't go near damaged areas or buildings. If a building gets damaged, such as a huge crack on the wall or it's landed on a few degrees, never go near it, for lethal debris may fall resulting to serious injuries and even death. Do not re-enter buildings until emergency management personnel has given clearance to return. Await instructions, be patient and help others. Number 2. Don't use your cell phones. During or after an earthquake, you must learn how to conserve your phone's battery life, no matter what percentage it would be on. It may be impossible to charge any devices due to damaged electrical poles, resulting to a blackout. Cell phones can only be used for emergencies. Ladies and gentlemen, please control your urges. Number 3. Don't go near at any live wires. Examples such as fallen electric lines bring risk, for they might have live wires loosened all over the place. Going to its proximity would only increase the chances of you being electrocuted. Do not use plumbing, light switches, gas tanks, matches, lighters, or candles. You may only use it when you are sure that there are no more any gas leaks. If you do the opposite, the result would be an explosive surprise. Shortly after the earthquake stopped, don't use any elevators for a while. As stated earlier, there may be aftershocks or the elevator system or the building itself might already be damaged. If done so, there is a high chance of you being trapped in the said elevator. This would only earn you the dumbest reason to be trapped in danger. If there are any injuries in your body, don't move too seriously. If people are trapped in danger from fire, building collapse, etc., note their locations and report them at the designated emergency response team. If the situation already seems obvious that you are the only one that can successfully help the said person in the moment, you may move even if injured. Now that you know the important things to do, it is up to you, ladies and gentlemen, how you will act and overcome the real situation. An earthquake is one of the most unforgiving calamities known to man, due to it happening without any warning. However, knowing at least these helpful tips would help reduce the damage and risks that said disaster may bring. It is your duty to protect the lives of yourself and others during an earthquake. Panicking and being negative means defeat. Always remember the protocol, kids, and always pray for the best. We thank you and wish you all for a very pleasant day.